It's an early morning. I'm feeling it today. Welcome, everybody. Dusty Davis.
Morning.
My man. How you been?
Good.
What have you been up to, my man? How's it going over there in Napa?
Oh, we've been busy, so can't complain there. Went to Frisco, Texas to watch Bobcats get their asses thoroughly kicked.
I was stalking you yesterday, and I watched all your videos of you down in Texas.
Yeah, it was a good time. Great time. Yeah.
Oh, you look like you had a great time down there.
Once in 37 years, you can't miss it.
Who won? Wait, you just said a second ago, but who won?
North Dakota.
North Dakota State.
Oh, yeah. I didn't catch it yesterday. I was thinking on the way home. I was like, do I ask him?
Yeah.
Who won?
9 out of 13 years they've won that thing. So.
Yeah, they're good.
Yep, they're good.
Where are they out of? Where's North Dakota out of?
Fargo is where they're at. North Dakota State.
Wow.
Yep.
That's how they keep warm up there, I guess, right? Because they just play a lot of football.
Yeah, they're inside up there. They're not that tough.
Oh.
Except they won.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Are you a Bobcats fan, Cody?
I am. That's where I went to school.
Oh, that's right.
You'd think we know that, right? We've done like...
You would think, but apparently...
We keep grilling Cody on his education, and
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
trying to
true.
figure him out.
How many years did you go?
I went 7. Did you ever watch what was that one? He's like, there's lots of people that go for 8 years and are like, yeah, we call them doctors.
Yeah, I was the same way, 6 for a doctorate.
For a doctorate.
I got a bachelor's degree, though.
I got a master's.
Yeah, I do not.
And a bachelor's. I got both.
Yeah.
I made it a couple of months in 1992 and dropped out.
Yeah,
I think it's called Southern Utah University now or something. I don't know. And there was a community college that I went to at one point that I made it there a couple of months and dropped out of there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it again.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was fun.
Do you really have a bachelor's then?
Yeah.
What do you have a bachelor's in?
Marketing.
And management. Dual major.
Nice.
My man.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And he's using it because he manages.
I know, and he markets.
Yeah, but any of the, I guarantee you the way we learned marketing.
It's so different now.
It's all
out the
obsolete?
It's
window.
obsolete.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's,
Totally
that's a
obsolete.
long time ago.
What was the focus back then? I mean, if you had to say like...
You had to figure out your key target market, but you did everything with math, statistics, like door-to-door surveys. Doing that anymore.
It's all social media stuff now.
The only person that does that stuff is the U.S. government with the census.
It's so true.
They do. Well, there was other stuff. Like you had to do, you had to figure out what kind of system you wanted or the floor. I remember we were talking about Target versus Walmart.
Yeah.
And the type of people that it would bring in.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's some that's going to roll over, but I would assume a lot of it's obsolete.
Yep.
Everything seems now to just be attention-based. Whatever platform it is figuring out how to get the attention on that platform. It's all just like attention-based. What is the attention? What is the attention span? What do they allow you? Like, what are the rules here? You know, like how limited are you on the amount of time? My daughter Alex was saying she started a new TikTok yesterday, and she was trying to shoot some stuff, and she's like, they keep cutting me off. It took her a while to figure out that no, you're limited to like 30 seconds or a minute.
You're 30
or
seconds unless it's a business account, and then they'll up you to 3 minutes. But like I said, I just seen the algorithm on the statistics on what people watch. If you have a 15-second video, 100% watch time. 30-second is about a 75% watch time, and it just keeps going down from there. So
yeah,
it's those short little clips. People.
That's actually bringing up a good point. Like when we were in school I remember they had said that when like on a flyer, you had 3 seconds.
Yep.
To get somebody's attention.
It's just,
and then we read it like a Z, because we read across and then we kind of drop down. So you just kind of like to see if it's even anything we're interested in.
so yeah, you just have those first few seconds to grab somebody to whether they're going to watch it. Because there's times I watch a whole 3-minute TikTok, but there's other times I'm like, oh, scroll. So it's all about getting that in that first few seconds.
we were putting out content, putting out videos for Facebook, and we spent a ton of time putting together a video. But then when I was talking to this Facebook marketing guy, all of a sudden just things changed, and they were like, they didn't want the videos. And he's like, I said, hey, I've been making these videos. I got some of these ready to go. And he was like, yeah, well, can we let's just put up some photos of your food. I'm like, well, why not the videos? And he's like, because if you can't get out all of your information, in like maybe 7-8 seconds, nobody's gonna watch it. He's like, nobody's gonna watch it. So if you can you do it in 7 seconds, 8 seconds? And I was like, well, no, but I mean, that's not the point of why we're putting videos together. And he was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. And then he put together a carousel, and I spent way too much money on this carousel of photos of burritos, and it did horrible, and nobody was looking at that either. I don't know. Those guys don't know. They aren't really marketing experts. They are how to get you to click through the little thing to just get something going.
Well, they're
so you're
also
paying them.
looking at every type of video.
Yeah.
And probably taking the average of how long, a certain video gets the most views. But if it's something you're interested in,
You're going to watch the whole
you're
thing.
going to watch a 3-minute reel.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the big thing now is reels, the quick, instant kind of gratification type thing than the longer.
Yeah. Somebody had taken a video years ago of my brother at a hill climb on his Harley. And it was out there for 10 years. And like last year it hit some page. And like that, it's like,
Just blew up.
3 million views in a day.
That's crazy. Is that one on your Instagram?
I think it might be on his.
Is that
I don't know. It might be on mine.
because that wasn't? Was it like doing barrels?
Oh yeah, that one was mine. That was the same one. It was like out there for like ever. Had
And then
like
all of a sudden just
200
hit.
views, and then one day it got on.
So was that you on that bike, or was
Yeah.
that him?
That was me.
And he has another video like
There's
that.
a video of him like going up a hill on his Harley.
Who can tell the difference between you two? Like honestly, like
Well, I'm way taller and better looking.
there it is.
Especially on a bike, you can tell those differences.
Well, when it's early morning and it's a little dark outside and I'm serving burritos, like I swear to you, I've held whole conversations with him thinking it was you.
Yeah.
He asked me, he goes, they're not twins, right? I was like, nope.
How far apart are you guys?
I'm 6 years older than he is.
That's incredible.
Years.
That's incredible. Like I had a conversation with him and he was just like, whatever. Yeah, I'll look for that part for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what I was asking him.
He just got to the point where he doesn't even argue with people.
Yeah, like 2014 Chevy Silverado. You're going to remember that? Yeah, I got it. I'll look for it. I was like, I don't think that was Dusty.
Oh, it was Nate.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you had a brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Brother and a sister.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I know that I've gone in and talked to the brother that
When
I
he
thought was you a couple. Then you leave and they sit in your car and you're like, man, there's something off on that. Something's not right.
Yeah, when he came back to first help me when oil field stuff slowed down, people were confused because I'd go in the back and he'd come back up and they'd be like, "Where's my stuff?"
Yeah.
It's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I just talked to you.
It's wild. 6 years apart and you guys look
go
that
down,
much alike.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like you go through that one doorway
side,
and he comes out the next
other
in
one.
a split second. You're like,
Yeah, that was happening a lot.
oh man, you guys should shoot videos like that.
Yeah.
Just poor resolution videos so you can't really see how,
exactly.
and just like
messing with people.
just messing with people.
Yeah, it would be good.
Oh, that would be so good.
Yeah, well, he's not here anymore though. He's back oil fielding, so we'll have to work on that.
What does he do in the oil field?
He's a directional driller, and now he's actually a company hand, I guess. So he's in charge of like all the logistics for a rig and stuff. So he's like J.R. Ewing.
J.R. Ewing.
You don't know who J.R. Ewing is?
I don't.
Didn't you ever watch Dallas growing
You
up?
never watched Dallas?
You know what? I know who J.R. is. I know that somebody shot him, but that's all I
Yeah,
know.
he was a big guy, oil tycoon.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't think I was allowed to
Huge.
watch that or something. I was little, and my parents were like, "You're not watching that smut." Or I don't know. They didn't really say anything.
I could see that. It wasn't. It was nighttime television.
It was like nighttime drama,
Yeah.
and honestly, like my parents were not into it. I don't know what they were into. I can't remember. We watched a lot of MASH. I mean, that's what I grew up on.
MASH in 60 Minutes.
Yeah, MASH, 60 Minutes, and I don't know, the Muppets or something. I don't know.
Muppets.
Hey, Johnny Cash is on the Muppets, and then we'd all come in, gather around.
We watched MASH and what was the one with? God, he became a lawyer later on, but Andy Griffith Show.
Oh.
Watched a lot of that.
My dad loved the Andy Griffith Show.
Lassie.
Yeah.
Oh,
We watched Lassie.
you go over to my parents' house right now. They're watching Andy Griffith Show. Like they have it on all the time. And that's a standard, yeah. So anyway, we watched that. Sorry, I got way off the subject here,
you're
but we're all over the place in here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, we're good.
But JR, no, I didn't ever watch all that stuff.
Yeah.
That makes me curious. How old are you now?
43.
You're 43. Okay, yeah, we're in the same ballpark. Am I the oldest one in here?
Yeah, you are.
Oh my gosh, I used to be the young guy.
How old are you, Cody?
45.
Man, I'm going on 48 here in a couple months.
Although if you looked at the gray, I would be like 56 probably.
Oh man. Well,
It is weird to
pretty wild.
look. It is weird to look in the mirror and every winter, like you're like, man, who's that guy?
yeah, it's happening quick. I've been graying fast. Like I look at old photos of when we
And
started
bald.
up the food trailer, and like I'm like, oh, it's like looking at like Obama before the presidency. He's like all black hair, and then like afterwards he was like
rough.
gray, like rough, and that's how I feel.
Well, it's running your own business.
It is, right?
Yep.
Yes. Oh man, I have so much I want to talk to you about. First off, though, I got to tell you, man, you're pretty. I don't know if I can put a percentage on it. I'll put a percentage on it. I would say you are probably 57% responsible for us having this podcast here today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know who's told me that you had a podcast or something. I stopped into Napa. It was a few years ago.
I think I might have talked to you about that.
I did, right? And I was like, dude, I heard you had a podcast. And you were like, yeah, we recorded in the back. And I said, can I see that? And you were like, yeah. So we walked back there.
Yeah.
You took me back, and you're like, this is, and there's like seats like ripped out of cars or something, that are sitting on the ground around.
They
like,
are back there.
Yeah.
maybe like sitting around like a rim that's like a coffee table or
That's
something.
Great.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, we record these back here, and we use a Zoom, and and I'm like, a Zoom? I don't even. What do you mean? He's like, yeah, it's a
Zoom account.
It's a little. No, He's like, it's a recording device. I'm like, I use this Zoom, blah blah blah, and I was fascinated, and I thought, I got to do this. I'm like, this looks fun.
Right.
And it's so crazy how I've always been into, I drove truck for years, and you get tired of music and you got to listen to talk radio. So I grew up listening to talk radio. Okay. And all of a sudden it's like podcasting put this just right in reach of anybody. Now with your phone, you can podcast, you can just record.
Right. Or you can listen to what you want to when you want to. That's
Yes.
You're not limited to the radio stations
Right.
that
Yep.
listening.
And without the commercials.
Yep.
The commercials kill me. I have zero attention span for commercials most of the time, unless they're really
Well,
creative.
and if you got one that has commercials on it, I mean,
Fast
bing,
forward.
bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, I listen to Rogan. I listen to whatever as soon as it comes on. DraftKings, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, zzz, I zip my finger across it,
Yep.
and I'm on to the next. I'm like, I pay for Spotify.
Yep.
Like, let me just listen without ads. I don't care what it is. Give me an option to pay so I don't have to do ads.
Right.
And I will do that every
Which
single
is
time.
funny is because you both are businesses, and
I
so
know,
you want to put out ads.
I was
know.
just thinking that too. It's not even 7 seconds for you.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, but when I do put out ads, we do try to, I don't know, we do try to do something creative, something entertaining, something real about it, because just the same old like, make sure you come on down to the old breakfast burrito trailer from Tuesday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. Like,
Just
who wants to hear that all the time?
I actually did pretty good on that.
I listen to a lot of talk radio.
Well, if you listen to like comedy podcasts, which is generally what I listen to, a lot of the times those guys kind of spiff up the ad reads to where there's one of them, I'll listen to all of his ad reads because they're so good.
because they do it in their own voice, and
Who
they
is
do it. So
Bert Kreischer.
Okay.
Yep.
I should listen to Bert's. I haven't listened to his.
Oh yeah, his is good. Yep.
And we are at some point going to start plugging in stuff. I mean, somehow we got to figure out how to pay for all this, honestly. So we got to start selling some sauce.
Right.
So we are, I'm going to, like
I have a
yesterday.
sticker. Do you want to see my sticker?
I know, right?
Yeah, I got one right here.
I designed that thing.
See brand recognition.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
7 seconds.
The Get Sauced sticker. That's a,
The Get Sauce.
yeah. And we're going to do that. I'm going to start plugging that in. I'll look that guy up though, but I do like when they read their own ads and it's spontaneous and that it's whatever. And you don't even realize that you're in an ad. I don't know how to do that. And I'm not real good at spontaneous. Sometimes I just choke. And I go to record these things. It takes me forever, and they're a mess. And then it takes a lot of editing. But anyway, I'm going to get better at that because at some point, we got to start figuring out how to make some money.
Well, Amazon should be coming on for advertiser for you.
Yeah, right. Well, we're going to be that big
Right.
very, very soon. So maybe so. After leaving your little podcast studio, I went and researched the Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought one like not long after that. I had like a Zoom 2. I don't know if I had a Zoom 4. I think you had a Zoom 2 or something.
Something like that.
And I bought I think the new Zoom 4 had just recently come out. I got a Zoom 4 and then I got a Zoom 6. And the Zoom 6 is what you and I, Cody, were using in the other.
On the other side?
Yes. And we were recording everything onto that. And we had separate camera inputs going. And it was just a lot of production to edit all of those afterwards.
Yep.
And I don't know. So then we went all crazy on all this, but to make it easier so that when it's done, it's just done.
Yeah. When we did our podcast, it was just what it was what it was. We never edited or anything.
Yeah. You just hit record.
Yeah.
So what started you in podcasting? Like, what was it that made you want to do it?
Me and my buddy Kyle Stottle thought it'd be fun to do one. So we did one because that's what we were listening to. He was driving truck at the time, so he was listening to podcasts all the time, and that's all I listened to. And he's like, we should do our own. I'm like, can't be that hard.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
You guys should pick it up again,
I
man.
know.
You should do it.
The problem with him is, though, he doesn't own a business, and he doesn't give a shit what he says.
I see. You just got to that's I guess, that's your podcast then, just whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what it was, the 406 Sarcast.
That's funny.
Yep.
And then you're like, do we say things about local issues, local things around here?
Oh, he definitely would, yeah.
Oh, man. And then you're like, we can't go to the store.
Yeah.
So because of that, did you ever have anybody come and like
No,
chew you out, get upset?
I can't believe we didn't, but.
Really? Are these out there? Can I go listen to them?
They should be out there still. I think we had them on Podbean.
Okay.
Where we were putting them. Yeah. Where do you put yours?
So I actually upload through Anchor.
Okay.
And then Anchor, I believe, is now owned by Spotify.
Oh, okay.
So Anchor distributes, though. You can listen to things on Anchor, but now basically you upload to Anchor, and then Anchor will distribute it to multiple podcast platforms. So from there, and some of them, they just automatically go there and they work. Other ones, you have to go there and, plug in your, it's like a RSS feed. You take your RSS feed that Anchor will produce for you. It gives you this line, this address. You go to Apple Podcasts and you basically register and you plug in your RSS feed. And then it used to just be a few days. Apple has had so many people submitting those that now the last time, or when I started this one up, like 2 years ago, it was backed up a couple of weeks before it appeared on there. You just sit there and wait. They have to approve them. And it takes a little bit of time on that one. But a lot of the other ones, they just go up. Facebook now carries podcasts. They'll put a podcast tab in your Facebook page.
Right.
And that helps because I was like, I don't want to go start another Facebook page, another Big Fat Podcast Facebook page, which I probably should. But they did plug in a podcast tab. If you look at like photos, videos, whatever, you go down the line, there's a podcast tab.
There's not a radio tab, though, is there?
What do you mean by a radio tab?
Podcasts are going to kill radio.
Oh, yeah, they are.
For sure.
For sure. It's all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, all the music platforms has killed radio.
Didn't they say MTV was going to kill radio?
They did. Yeah.
Now it's reality shows and no music videos.
Is MTV even still around?
Yeah, it's still around.
But yeah, there's like literally no music videos. The only place you can get music videos, and I don't even know, it's been a long time, was VH1. They would do like the morning music videos, but I haven't watched it.
But I think they're all old.
Yeah.
I think I was watching one at the hotel at VH1. I think they still do them. I think they are old though. I think they were.
Yeah,
I remember
old.
I've watched these before.
Yeah.
Now I get my music videos. If I want to see a music video, I watch it on Apple, or I watch it on iTunes,
YouTube,
or YouTube Music.
Yeah.
I have the YouTube Music
huge.
app. I'll listen to them on regular YouTube, but then usually it switches me over. I don't know, whatever. I go over to the YouTube Music app.
Right.
But I don't know. It's crazy how quickly it all changes. So anyway, but dude, man, you should get it up and go. Anchor's free. and you can just upload to Anchor and manage all your podcasts there. And they give you all your analytics there. You can go in there and see where in the world you're getting listeners from. And
that
pretty interesting.
Podbean did the same
cool
thing too. So it's kind of.
So how long did you do it?
Oh, we probably did it maybe 6 months or something. So like
For a while.
Yeah, we didn't do that many. One of the best ones we ever did was with a friend of ours that came home. And so we did like this hour and a half, and it was hilarious. We didn't hit the record button.
Oh.
So it was recording before we started. We hit the button, and it stopped.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah, and I mean, you just couldn't replicate it.
No. Did you just have a sick feeling at that when that was?
A little bit, but a little bit of a feeling of relief, because some of the stories that this guy was telling was mentioning names from a long time ago.
Oh,
and
man.
Some stories that were very funny, but at the same time, it's like,
Yeah. Should we be putting that out there?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we were starting to do these live, and we were going to do these on Facebook Live, but I was having problems uploading. Like with YouTube, it's crystal clear. I mean, it just uploads perfect. We can go live on YouTube, and it's perfect. But but Facebook Live, for some reason, it doesn't. It's not. It has interruptions constantly, and I think it has. I don't know. Facebook just doesn't have it dialed in, or there's a problem with their upload speed. But my point here is this: is like, it's almost kind of a relief to not do the live.
Right.
Like we can say whatever we want in here, and if somebody afterwards
Edit it out.
says, you know what, I probably shouldn't have told you that one story. Like, boom, no problem. We can go in there and I can.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's some pluses to, but the live, Facebook is so all about live. They'll just dump audience at you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Yep.
And well, now too, I wish you could save it. And I don't know if that TikTok you can go live and you can play music in the background and you're not getting. Yeah, it's crazy. But I don't believe, and I haven't seen if you can save those. So like once you're live and it goes away, it goes away.
Yeah, my sister uses TikTok she's got some good TikToks.
Yeah. So we just started getting in the TikTok game. I've been researching it for a good year. Like I have researched it.
Yeah.
So I'm like completely, but
To the point where all of a sudden it's like pressure to finally pull the trigger.
yeah, I'm like, oh, you
You're like-
had your first 5 videos. That's what they rate you on, and you get rated, and then it's how you get them out on your For You page. Like I read all the analytics.
You probably just
YouTube.
need to have a 10-year-old come in and make you a TikTok video and go viral.
So we
That's true.
started to, with our sauce and stuff started, and we've done a few, but we've slacked this week, which.
Yeah. Did you get into? Are you on the TikTok game?
No, I never have had that.
Oh, dude, I think
My
you
sister says I need it.
you do need it.
Yeah.
I was so against it for a long time. I was just like so against it.
I think it's right up your alley, and I'll tell you why. I would start posting all of your pool life videos.
That's what my sister says I need to do.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. All those pool life videos, they're like 15 seconds, 17 seconds.
Yeah.
And I
Perfect.
would just run with that, man.
Yeah.
I would just keep on putting that stuff out. That's perfect. That's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and it's amazing the views. Like all of a sudden, like you've had 3 views. Like you can go up to 1 million views like that.
Right.
So it's crazy how.
And is that Kyle helping you video some of those?
Well, yeah, Kyle helped me on that one that we did. Kyle and his brother Jason was up here, and he's like big media guy in the Army, so he knows how to do all the edit and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pool life, man. He's got some funny pool life videos where
And those are one shot only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it, though.
Yeah.
Is like, so there's no big production to it. There's no
Yep.
whatever. Man, you just shoot it. You just be you and just like, or you be whoever you're being. You know, it's like,
We could be anywhere, and I'll run into somebody I know.
yeah.
I'll be like, "Oh man, you got to keep doing those pool videos."
Yeah.
My wife is sick of them. She's like, "You got to be kidding me."
Yeah. That's because most of them you're in the pool yelling, Lisa, Lisa.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, she is really out of ear's distance when I do that, because then I'd probably lose my phone in the pool.
I was wondering, is she just over there taking that, or is she? Where is she?
Yeah.
Start throwing things at you.
My brother got me a cowbell that says "Ring for Beer" on it for Christmas.
Oh, I
Actually,
did see
my
that.
brother's wife did, and she's like, "I'm gonna kill her."
Ah, that's so great. Yeah, I did see a video where you were ringing that. And
So
you
you've
were
been
out at
ringing.
the
Have you
pool.
been ringing it at all to see what she does?
Once,
Didn't turn out as well as you thought.
I put it away for a while.
Oh, that's funny. Man, I'd just be cranking out pool life videos, man, if I were you. I think you have something there.
Yeah.
That's
We'll have to
great.
maybe get on TikTok.
And
Yeah, totally.
I
And you
dig-
can upload all those videos now. Since you already have them done, you can just upload them to TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you don't even have to go in there. You don't have to do it.
No, you already have content.
Yeah.
Just
So
go
you
start
can-
an account, start
Yep.
upload,
Oh, yeah.
upload,
Super easy.
upload.
Oh, well, I might have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do they need to be less than like 7 seconds?
So TikTok's weird. So you start out being able to do 30-second videos, right? And the more followers you get and the more traction you get, you'll get to go up to 1 minute. The more traction you get, or you start at a minute and then you can go up to 3 minutes, but you have to gain followers and gain these things in order to move up. And then you can start doing live. Now, if you put on a business, I think you can go live right away and you can do 3-minute videos.
What was the problem though with the business account that we bailed
you
on?
couldn't use. So TikTok's a lot about the mainstream music. It's all about the sounds. What's popular, what's trending now, and that's how a lot of your videos will get shown. But so if you're a business and you're going to be making money off of those, for instance, you can't use those songs.
You can't use the
because
mainstream
they're not
music.
licensed.
They give you like the generic,
Yeah, that you can get.
license-free music, but it's not the top.
It's like posting something on
So, but there's so much
Yeah.
and I don't know a lot. I need to do some more research because there's so much content creators out there that are making money. They're having brands sponsor them and they're sending them stuff. So they are making money and they are using songs. So I don't know. I have to do that a little more research on that one.
I guess
Not
if
quite
they're
sure.
just not listed as a business account though, and
Yeah.
people are saying, "Here, I'll pay you to."
Yeah. And then you can get a creator. Then it'll bump you up to creator and they'll give you creator tools and all sorts of things to do different things. But it is a pretty extensive little platform for little videos. You wouldn't
I
think.
wonder how, because TikTok replaced Vine, right? Kind of is what.
Yeah, and Musically and Vine. So it was like Vine and then Musically.
They bought Musically.
Or-
It was originally
but-
Musically. TikTok bought Musically.
But I think it was Vine before it was Musically.
Oh, okay.
And then it went to TikTok, I believe.
So who's going to get TikTok? Facebook?
The Chinese.
I don't know.
They're
I
keeping
don't
it
Well-
think
forever.
the Chinese own that. And,
Yeah.
I was
uh,
gonna say that's the biggest thing right now. Some people don't like TikTok
Because of the Chinese.
because it's
Yep.
Chinese.
well, and they, when you go into the agreements, which hardly anybody reads all those agreements, but it allows them access to everything on your phone and everything about you, and it's owned by the Chinese government.
Yep.
And
And it's the number one app used worldwide. Everybody's on TikTok. So that's why it's so important to get your content out
and
there.
they have access to your location. They have access to what you're searching on the web. They have access to
To
your
all of
text
it.
messaging. They have access to your photos. They have access to everything. And I don't know. Some people are saying it's,
But so does
that
Facebook and
it's-
all these other
that it's,
apps.
but being that it's owned directly by the Chinese, they're saying that it's the largest intelligence
breach.
security risk there is right now is TikTok, because they know apparently in China they don't allow their soldiers to have a regular phone, to have access to regular internet. Like they give you a phone. Like
Not in China.
yeah, not in China.
Yeah.
But over here,
What are you
everybody's just
thinking?
walking around with their own phone, documenting everything.
Well, you
And-
have police officers and military people that are putting out TikToks and about not getting the vaccination and they're leaving, so they're putting all this information out on TikTok.
Mm,
It's amazing.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah. What's his name? I saw Cole Waltner put out a TikTok, and he was in uniform, and it's like cops of TikTok, hashtag cops of TikTok or something like that. I saw one last night, and he's like, he's sitting in the dark, and the camera comes up, and then it's like the red lights come on from the car or something. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. It was a good one. I saw it last night or this morning. I can't remember.
Have
what
you
it was.
seen the IKEA dude? Oh, you got it. Anybody that's worked in retail, look up the IKEA dude. His TikTok.
I
It is-
will.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm.
We need a screen in here. We need a thing that we can be like, let's check that out.
Yeah.
And we just bring it up, and
Yeah.
we need to start doing that. Cody, get on that, would you?
Yeah.
Make that happen.
Big screen. We need a big
We
screen.
need a big screen, and I know. you know what? This is the 4-channel mixer. We should have got the 8-channel.
Oh, goodness.
Man,
That's how it always works.
I know, right?
You should just go big at first.
That's what I thought I was going big.
Yeah.
And then I got in and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, this is like, I'm limited. We need the 50 channel. They make a 50. This is the 4.
Anything that you're into, if you initially think you should start small, just go big right away.
Go big.
Because
Exactly.
you're going to waste your time and money on small, and they're eventually going to get big.
100% you are accurate right there. Because yeah, that's always how it goes. I mean, and whatever you think you're going to spend 10 times that.
Yep.
Yeah. Very, very true. So I wanted to ask you about, like, man, you grew up here in Columbus.
Yep.
And April's like, yeah, I went to school with him and everything else. And what is it like growing up here in Columbus? This is my promised land. I moved here and I'm like, this is the greatest place ever.
You don't appreciate it until you leave.
When did you leave?
97.
Okay.
And so I just went to Bozeman, but you really appreciate growing up in a small town after you have to live in a kind of a bigger place, you know?
Yeah.
And then you go places for different stuff, and it's like, man,
Yeah.
you know, it's nice to visit, but I'm ready to go home.
Yeah. Well, I moved here in 2007, and my kids have all, like, at different times come to me and said, hey, like, I'm really glad you picked out Columbus because I just picked it out on the map.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, we've been to a lot of different schools for sports and different things like that. And we're just glad that this is our school and this is our town. And
Yep.
so I always felt really good about that. And I don't know. This was like, I don't know, kind of a big move for me. I just was like, hey, I'm getting out of Nevada. I'm tired of the heat, tired of the sun being a foot from my head. And I want the Montana life. And I just picked this out on the map. So I've been grateful. And I'm always kind of jealous, though, of the people who, like, grew up here. And I'm like, do they know how good they had it in this little town?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, nice thing about this, we're a small town, but we got an economy.
Yeah.
You
Very
know,
true.
Yeah, most small towns don't.
Yeah. I mean, across the state anymore, you go even western Montana in the small towns.
Oh, it's awful. There's
nothing
no
there.
money.
Yep.
No
'Cause of
money
the
for the
logging
school.
industry, and that stuff's all gone.
And you have a lot of retired people moving, and so they're not wanting to put money into the schools and stuff. And so the schools are in the stadiums and all that are just not what.
Yeah, they're not what
They
they
are.
used to be.
Yeah.
And that used to be like the thriving part of like
Oh.
small towns. So we're lucky to be here, have what we have.
Yeah. And I think, is that just because of the mine? Is that?
That the majority of it
Yeah.
is, I mean, this town's changed a bunch since I was a little kid. You know?
Yeah.
So that's,
I have to say, I'm amazed on how many people commute to Billings.
yep. And we've
I mean,
kind of,
you've got the mine going. I mean, there's others, but it's a bedroom community as well.
Well, you
Yeah.
got the hospitals and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a huge hiring too. So you
and
have
the
that.
amount of people that live in Columbus that work at the refineries in Laurel or Billings too.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Quite a few people. So
Yeah. And I'm starting to see, like, people, I don't know, maybe it's always been like this, but people are getting out of Billings to come out and get a little bit out of there or whatever.
Yep.
I got a message from a guy. Actually, I don't know if I should say it or not, but I'm not going to say it. But I got a message from a guy who owns a food truck, or did, in Billings, who's like, hey, man, I just put an offer on a house in Columbus, and what's it like out there? And what do I need to, what do you need to warn me about? And I'm like, man, I have nothing to warn you about. I mean, it has its typical small town, whatever, but it's a great place. And I thought that was interesting that he and his
Yeah.
family are trying to get out of Billings
Yeah, I
and
think
come out
there's
here.
a lot of people trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
Did you want to leave Columbus like when you were a kid where you're like, oh, I want out of this town so bad?
Oh yeah, I left the day after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
I was loaded up and gone.
Yeah, I moved to Texas when I was 16. You know, my family moved
Yep.
that way. So I got out for 7 years. But I was so happy to leave. And then I
Yep.
was happy to come back.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was looking for a place like where I could work, like as a regional guy,
Uh-huh.
that would be somewhere like Columbus, you know. So
Yeah.
I didn't really find one. so here I am.
I'm glad you weren't able to. I love your store. I like,
Well, thank you.
yeah, I like going in there and BSing with the guys. There's always some good dudes in there. And I don't know, it just has that, like that Mayberry, like in its own little way, like its own little gathering place.
Yeah, what I like about it is it's friendly.
Yeah.
Like everybody, I mean, we go in and crack jokes. And,
Yeah.
and you can tell that some of them have a better relationship with each other than maybe I would, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the outsider in that sense, kind of the new guy.
Yeah.
And so, but over time, you just kind of build this relationship and people know you. And
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets to be a little bit of a cluster when you got too many people in wanting to bullshit. You still got to work.
Right. Right.
yeah, I could see that because it would be hard. Yeah.
That happens.
Because you go, I've been in there where you had 3 or 4 guys and everyone, all of a sudden, all of us are just being.
You don't want to be rude, but it's just like, I have a ton of stuff to do.
Yeah. My wife calls it the barber shop.
Yeah. It really is.
Kind of about what it is. All the
I know, man. You just need a
all the
checker.
male gossips right there.
That's great.
Can we get a checkerboard in there?
I could see that.
Yeah. A checkerboard over in the corner with like a coffee pot.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
can
but then
totally
they would
see that.
never leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
That is one thing. I went to a Napa meeting one time and they're like, you should not have stools at your counter. That ties up space. People will sit on those stools and stay forever, and do not have a coffee pot. And we had, at one time, we had a coffee pot sitting up there.
Dartboard.
Yeah.
Stools.
That's interesting.
Stools.
Yeah.
You had a table. You could go over and sleep.
Yeah. I still got stools, but no
Yeah.
coffee pot anymore. It broke.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why I mean.
Because they look at it as turning
Turning
over customers. You know, it's corporate
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah, you think about it. Every person that comes in, there's got to be a dollar amount associated.
Yeah, but is somebody going to walk away because, there's too many people sitting at the counter? Like, I don't know. I could see, like, for food-wise, but...
And not necessarily just people sitting at the counter, but people are impatient.
Yeah, that's
And
very
so
true.
Yeah.
You're there by yourself and you got 3-4 people you're helping. I've seen people walk in, just turn around and walk right out.
Huh, interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we have people that are like, they'll come up to the window. They're like, I need a sausage breakfast burrito. Like, boom, she's rolling it right now. It'll be like
30 seconds.
30 seconds. By the time I take their money, like it'll be done, and they'll turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
And we'll see
And
like
I'm
people
like-
head to the town bump, and I'm like, it's going to take you longer to park.
Oh, yeah.
Get out, get in, than to wait that 30 seconds. But
Yeah.
it is human nature.
Yeah. We went to dinner or lunch yesterday in Bozeman. They're like, oh, it's going to be a 30-40 minute wait. And my daughter and my wife were like, well, do you want to go somewhere else? I'm like, no, we'll wait. By the time we go somewhere else, it's
Yeah.
going to take us that long
Yeah.
and longer.
It's true.
Like, just sit here and wait.
Yeah.
Well, and Bozeman's gotten there's a lot of traffic.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can sit at a stoplight for. I remember thinking, when was the last time I sat at a stoplight for 3 times? You know, it was Salt Lake.
That town was not designed for
The growth.
the growth that it
Yeah.
has. Yeah.
I seen somebody post a sign that there's a big billboard saying, make Bozeman, Montana again.
Yeah.
And then there's one at Big Sky, like, or treat everyone like the locals would. They put up out at Big Sky. And I was like, whoa, they must be
Well,
really
and then
hitting
if you
it
come
hard.
in on the south side of Cody, they got one that says "Don't California our Cody."
Oh,
And these are big billboards.
I've seen the other ones, but I haven't seen that one.
who's
Yeah.
paying for those?
I know.
Somebody that's upset with the
Change in
the
their
new
town.
the new crowd.
That one in Cody is like if you're coming north from like Thermopolis, it's right after you go past Kanye West place.
Oh,
Oh,
huh. And I heard he sold that.
Yeah.
Oh, we did
Yeah. I heard that too.
bankruptcy,
bankruptcy.
apparently.
I don't know.
Oh,
About
I haven't heard that.
bankruptcy.
But I
No.
Oh,
heard,
you haven't?
I heard he sold it, but I didn't hear about the
Oh, but
bankruptcy.
didn't he? I think he had that under like a church thing, right?
I'm sure.
So I wonder
Or
if
maybe that was what it
His
was.
little-
he filed a bankruptcy that way.
on his church.
I thought I had to do something with the women in his life, but I don't know.
Oh, the Kardashians never.
Well,
I have no idea.
we actually went down to Cody to go to a Sunday service a couple years ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
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 I was like, April's like, hey, I just got a text from, a friend of mine, and she says that Kanye is going to be doing, this was on like Friday, right? We found this
Yeah.
out on Friday.
Yep.
Right. Kanye's going to be doing Sunday service in Cody this Sunday morning. I looked at April and I was like, oh, we have to go to that. Like,
Did
We're-
he do it?
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We went. and-
We went. There was thousands of people there.
Yeah.
It was massive. And we had to stand in line forever, and then they let everybody into this big park, and we stood on just
sat outside. in the
sat
grass.
outside, and like there's all these buses came, and there's all his choir, and they came and just got set up, and then after a while, like, after they come all in, and then he comes in and he's wearing this bright like yellow hoodie or something. Actually, something but he kept his hood up almost the whole time. And he wasn't really trying to make the show about him. He was there and featuring this choir, and they were just doing their Sunday service.
They just sang the whole time.
Sang the whole time, and there was one time where they were really jamming, and like he like ripped out just like one or two lines. I actually have it on video on my phone, and where he's on the microphone, rips out just a couple of lines,
And that's it.
and that was it. And then it was just the choir and.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, we're just there. We're like, we're in Cody at Kanye's Sunday service. Like, we just had to go just for the experience.
Like, yeah.
What's his religion? Was it just non-denominational?
Yeah, just non-denominational.
Yeah.
It all kind of started off apparently as like, he was in, Calabasas or something in California. And it was just like a small gathering of people that would get together. And it was very private, and he started to, they kind of moved it around sometimes, the location of it. And it was just a time to get together, sing, bring in a choir and whatever. And then they started to invite other celebrities, and, different people were getting the invite, and you either did or you didn't. It was kind of exclusive, but then it just slowly got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they finally started to go places and just give people very short notice that they're going to hold a Sunday service at this place or a Sunday service at this place. And thousands of people would show up. Yeah.
To have that kind of money and just
I know, just go wherever you want. Just show up. Yeah, a week.
be crazy.
Next week, just go here.
Yeah. It was pretty,
It's a different world. I think that's a totally different world.
He's a different guy.
Well, yeah.
oh,
Have you ever listened to him? Did you listen to him on Joe Rogan?
yes.
He's smart, but he's also way out there on
He is way out there.
yeah, it's crazy.
Sometimes hard to follow.
Yeah, way
Can't
hard.
understand what he's saying. Like, I'm like, he lost me.
But then you'll be like, okay, he's getting at this.
Yeah,
And
he'll have like 4 points he's talking about at one time that come to one thing at the end, but you're like, what?
You got to stick with it.
Yeah.
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 And he's a fascinating guy that he's able to, I don't know, he must have good organized people around him
Apparently,
that are able to somehow,
Bringing
organize
that all
those
in.
thoughts.
he's not getting from point A to point B on his own.
But he was so convinced that he was going to just be president.
Oh yeah, he was convinced.
Yeah. I'm like, that's how you got to go through life. There's a certain element of you that just has to be like Kanye and be like, you're just going to be president.
Yeah.
Just because somebody told you, like, you should be president. And he's like, oh, I'll be president. He has a bit of that attitude. Like,
Yeah, he absolutely. Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
It's arrogance, delusion mixed with, I'm not sure, some positivity.
Confidence.
I really didn't even like him at all till years ago. Now I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I didn't like him at all until I saw him on a TMZ interview. And that TMZ interview, he was super real. And he turns around and he just gets away from the guys who were interviewing him and starts addressing this big, huge room of people at cubicles. And he just starts telling them all, like, oh, hey. And then some guy comes out of an office and he's upset with him. And he's like, well, Kanye, I've been following you for years, but when you did this or when you said this, and he was just like, hey, man. And anyway, I could go all into his points that he was making. But his all of a sudden, him just being really open and real. When I saw that video, I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm starting to see that this guy, he struggles with some things, but he's a real dude.
Right.
And he starts admitting to all these people. He's like, I got hooked on pain pills because I was getting, what's it called? Liposuction. I was getting liposuction to look good for y'all. I thought I needed to look good for y'all. And he's like, so I was getting liposuction. And he's like, and I got hooked on the pain pills. And he's like, I had to get off of that. I can't have this stuff control my life. I can't have you control my life.
If I close my eyes right now, I'd feel like Kanye was talking.
Oh, I could keep going. Oh, yeah. I could keep on going. And, it was so great. I watched that video a couple times, actually. And I was just like, look at him just throwing it out there.
Yeah, pop culture is in front of everybody now, so it's guys like him that the Kardashians.
Yeah.
You know, they're just all over this stuff, and that's all people pay attention to, it seems like.
I feel bad that he's going through this divorce. I feel bad that he's whatever. Like, I used to not have any empathy for him because I just didn't care. You know, I was
Right.
like, whatever, you don't know. But then once I got to know him more and you whatever, I'm like, you know, we talked about that a little bit yesterday. You know, I've been through a divorce, and it's just a crappy feeling. And I feel that not only now for him, I feel it for anybody who's going through it. I'm just like, oh, what?
It's fandom. Makes you feel like you want to root for him,
yeah.
you know?
Well, that, and I think it makes it a little bit relatable. Like, oh, he's just a person. He's going through these hardships just like I have, and it makes you feel sick for the things that he's just that empathy and
Yeah. I hear about guys though up at the mine going through a divorce. I don't even know the guy, and I'll just be like,
Yeah,
I start feeling sick for him. You know, I don't even know the guy, and I know he's 40-something years old. He's going through a divorce, and he's got a bunch of kids, and anyway, so I don't know. That's kind of changed for me as I've
So
gotten older.
do you ever feel that there's anybody that deserves it?
That deserves divorce.
Yeah, hey, maybe they earn that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure
there's some people that really, yeah, probably so. Yeah, but yeah, there are people that deserve it. I mean, there's a lot of crappy people out there doing crappy things in relationships, and yeah, they do. But I don't know. Somebody's hurting.
Yeah, somebody's getting hurt.
Somebody, yeah,
Somebody is sick and not eating and feeling terrible.
yeah. I don't know. Anyway, we got all off track on that. Kanye took us all out into divorce land, but yeah,
All
So-
off a billboard.
off of a billboard.
Right?
That's true. It was off a billboard from Cody.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
California or Cody.
right. So I don't know when the elections are, but what we really wanted to talk to you today is about you running for mayor.
No, I can't. I don't live in town.
Oh, we can fudge an address, right? Can't we just fudge an address?
No, I don't live in town. I can't run for mayor.
Just claim Napa as a residence. They'll let you get away with that, right? We had a mayor that didn't live here for years.
Yeah, but he actually had a house in town.
Oh,
Where did he live?
That shouldn't.
he lived in Billings.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
shouldn't even be a thing.
Oh, I
Just
think I
because you have
remember
own a house.
Yeah. He owned a couple.
Yeah, but he lived in Billings.
Yeah.
Most people didn't know about it until a meth lab blew up next door and it caught his house on fire. And then it was all over the news, and they're like,
I
oh,
remember-
this guy is
I
the mayor
remember
of
that.
Columbus.
Yeah. When the gas line blew up there. Yep.
Yeah, was it a
It was
gas line
gas
or
line.
I thought it was a meth lab
Oh,
or
no,
something.
gas line, major explosion.
Oh, okay. That sounds better. Sounds like he was in a better neighborhood.
Gaslight. Yeah.
Yeah, Gary wasn't in that side of the town. He was in a nice spot.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know him. I couldn't have picked him out of a lineup.
Yeah.
But that was also interesting in this small of a town that I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Yeah. That guy's got a sense of humor.
Does he?
He is funny. Yep. Real funny.
Wow. And he's not our mayor anymore.
No, his health has declined, I guess. So
Ah,
he had to step down.
wow.
And you don't want to step up?
You're not
No.
going to do it?
No. I couldn't do public office.
Can we just rent you in a place in town?
Yeah. No.
Why couldn't you do public office?
Right at the back
Even
of
if
your
you're
shop.
like really favored, you probably can only make 60% of the people happy, I would think. That'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
like doing
And
a great
that's
job.
high.
Yeah, that'd be doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
You'd have 40% of the people pissed at you all the time.
And hate you for
Yeah.
no reason.
And that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I don't deal well with that stuff.
I don't blame you. Like, I'm always trying to make everybody happy.
Right. Yeah. And like in
Yeah.
our business, if we fail to make one person happy, it's all right. I know why I did that or what happened.
Yeah.
You can fix that.
Right.
But when you got 40% or 50% of the
You're
population,
never going to make
majority of
everybody
someone
happy.
always.
you can't fix that.
You have a point there. I was hoping I could talk you into it.
Yeah, no, I've had people asking me about commissioner, and I'm like, nope, not for me.
Yeah.
I'll put my input in on what I would like to see happen, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah. So who's the mayor right now?
Paul Edwards is a fill-in.
He's a.
Yep.
I knew there was a fill-in.
Yep.
And then isn't there an election coming up like
I'm not sure when it is. It's got to be.
pretty soon? I would think, isn't it? Every like 2 years or every 4
It's
years?
this year,
It's every 4 years.
22. Should be. The
Huh.
commissioners are up, or one of them is. So,
Yeah, I see
so
that.
I'm sure it's this year.
I see that Rafato's running.
Yep.
Who's he running against?
I don't know if he's even got anybody running against him.
Oh, he
Nope.
seems like a good dude. He plays tennis at the tennis courts on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. I run into him and all these other guys there.
Play
And,
tennis at Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.?
I did until it got cold, but yeah, Connor and I would go down there and
I've
play
seen
tennis.
you guys down there playing.
Yeah. We just got into it this year. And actually, I played tennis years ago, and I haven't played for like 25 years or something. But this year, we picked it up, and we were like, let's go play tennis on Saturdays. So we started to go down there, and there's this group of older guys that gather every Saturday.
Of the
like
father and
the Catholic priest guy,
Yeah.
and there's like all these, and Rafado's one of them.
Yeah.
And they're all like, hey Milo, and I'm like, hey, how's it going, Fred, or whatever their names. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, we're all like, hey, and it became this Saturday thing.
morning ritual.
And then sometimes their guys don't show up, and so we play together, and so all of a sudden I'm
yeah.
playing doubles with Rafado.
It's like a little country club.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's cute.
Yeah.
Country club.
Anyway, so I played some tennis with Rafado, and he's a really nice guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a good guy. I think he'd be good for this. He could do it.
Yeah. I don't know. You got to have a good laid back mentality in these little small towns, and I think that really helps.
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
Some of these guys get a little uptight and everything. That's why I was like, Dusty seems laid back.
Yeah, probably too laid back.
But that's probably what we need.
Yeah.
Man. What do you feel about how I always have heard how it seems like this town doesn't want events, doesn't want growth, doesn't want change. Do you feel that that's how that is, or is that I've been misled on this?
Some of it might be true, but I think a lot of it is it was set up to make sure that we don't have an overgrowth
Okay.
to where something happened, you know. I mean, it's a lot harder to do stuff here, subdivide and everything, than a lot of counties
Uh-huh.
or a lot of areas, a lot of counties. So it's a plus and a minus, I would say. You know, I don't think it's preventing anybody from coming, you know, but there's only so much real estate.
We're not going to California Columbus.
Right. But then on this other hand, look at like Big Timber, you know, and how many restaurants there are there. And
That is very true. I always wondered why there's so many more restaurants in Big Timber
Yep,
than here.
I can't, and if maybe it's just geographically, you know, like we're closer to Laurel, Billings,
Maybe.
and they're close to Livingston, you know, which is still a drive, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely a shortage of places to eat in this town, and I think when people think to go out, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to get out of town," and
Yeah.
Billings is just too close.
Yep. I
you
think
know.
that's part of it. And same thing with why we don't have more motels here is, I mean,
Well, I feel like Columbus is like a drive-through point. You don't really stop to do anything. You stop, you get gas, you get groceries, and then you're heading up to the mountains or going your
Right.
directions. It's
Yep.
kind of like just a load up on stuff and keep going.
What about events though? Like, what about they seem to try to get some events kind of going, and I've heard that there was pushback in the past. And
that was years ago, I think, when the boat float was
okay,
stopping here, and that was kind of a mess. It was just I think a mess.
is it just because it's just a drunken mess?
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
that kind of mess
Yeah,
you're talking
and
about?
I think that's probably why they were kind of like, no, you guys are not stopping. And back then, I mean, gosh,
How many years has it been since Boat Float
Oh,
stopped
it's been
here?
a long time. I mean, it had to be 30 years ago almost.
Oh, wow.
I'll bet you, real close.
Wow.
So then they tried moving it to the air bowl, because that technically was county, not city, and it didn't fly for whatever reason. It just didn't fly like it did when
Yeah.
it used to come into town. I don't know why.
Because they used to have street dance at that point, didn't they?
Yeah,
If
the
I'm
old, it
remembering
was the old
right.
307,
Yeah.
the old building, and I
Yeah.
mean that whole place was packed.
Yep.
Well, shoot, I would really like if there was some, I don't know, we've kind of thought about it, like how do you put together these type of bigger events, and we've thrown it around. There's times where we're short on time and energy and everything else that we have going on, and we've tried to figure out like how do we start our own like food festival where we can invite in, like it's competing with all the other little towns once the weather gets
Well, look
good.
at Deb Zerke's barbecue.
Yeah.
You know.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
It's just, I would think,
You have people that are dedicated to doing that every single year, and they're in
well,
charge
and
of
events are
that.
one of those things too. It's consistency.
Yeah.
Every year, same time, bang, bang, and it just builds.
And kind of claiming that weekend.
And owning it. And so that's kind of, I think, like what the hill climb's done,
Yeah.
is every year everybody knows when it is.
Right.
But the big thing with that works so good is that you can bring campers out there. So you don't have to worry about lack of lodging or
Yeah, exactly.
people can stay there. And the cops are all on board for making sure everything goes smooth. And there's always an issue or two, but it really isn't. It isn't bad.
No. There's
Not
a
with
couple,
how many people show
Right.
up.
Yeah. There's like a couple stolen cars that weekend, and there's usually a little outside problems that we don't usually have on a regular basis. I know of.
Yeah. Well, it's starting to become more common, that stolen car stuff.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Billings is bad at it.
Yep.
Wow. I hate to have those types of issues.
I was licensing my car in Laurel just 2 months ago, and the guy that was behind me had his trailer stolen in town, and he lives on the south side of town in Laurel, and he was like, yeah, it was normally he put a little chain around it or something to like the electric pole, and his buddy dropped it off, and he didn't do it. He's like, I thought about it, and next morning it was gone.
Wow.
Which is crazy. You wouldn't think of that, especially in
I leave
Laurel,
my
but-
car running when I go. When it's cold out, I'm running to the. I leave it running.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I'm like, oh.
I think in 2018, I was riding around town. I got this, one wheel. I'm cruising around on town. And I came over to the elementary school, and I actually shot a little video, and I saw it popped up as a memory not too long ago. But as I'm riding along, there's got to be 20 bicycles in a row laying in the grass in between the street and the sidewalk right there. There's a little strip of grass.
Yeah.
Not one of those bikes had a bike lock on it. Nobody had a chain around the base of their seat.
Nope.
Nope. Not one bike was secured. I don't know where these kids were. I mean, I guess they were in class.
They
I
were
can't
in
remember if class was going right then or not. I can't remember. I can't remember. I videoed this. And I was like, wow, this is like crazy. This is like really encouraging. This is what I kind of like about this town here is one of these things.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at all these bicycles. Not one of them is locked up. Not one.
Yeah. I didn't learn how to use a bike lock until I was in college.
Wow. When I was a kid, I grew up in Henderson at probably that age, which is a suburb of Las Vegas.
Yep.
And you didn't leave your bike alone for 20 minutes. Like, that thing was gone.
Yep.
And either stripped and sitting out in the desert, or you saw somebody riding it 2 weeks later with a different paint job. Like, and then the kid was big and, had armpit hair, and you're like, it's his bike now. Like,
Dad's buying me a new one.
yeah, but you had to watch your bike.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just like, oh, I'm having an Andy Griffith moment here.
That is one thing when you grow up in a small town and you go to big cities, we are a bit naive.
Yeah.
Oh, completely. When moving to Dallas, completely come from Montana. I've never been anywhere.
Yep.
I moved to the, north of Dallas. Completely naive. When I moved back, I'd still walk into my house and lock my door, and people would make so much fun of me. They're like, what are you doing? You're locking your door. You're inside. Just during the day, I'd have my door locked. It took me a long time to get out of those habits of, yeah.
Though, I'll tell you one thing that I love about this place also is that it was a few years ago. I can't remember how many years ago, but I went into Napa and I was doing some project on my truck and whatever. And you were like, we didn't know each other, and I'd been in there maybe a couple of times, but I went in there, you didn't really know me, and I'm like, I'm working on this project. I ordered a part from you, and you were like, hey, yeah, you know what? If you need you need this certain tool to do that. I was like, oh, okay. Can I is that a tool I can buy here? I don't know, or do I rent that or something? You're like, oh, I mean, I got one in the back. Let me grab it. And you came out and you were like, oh yeah, just just bring this back when you get done. And I was like, okay. And I went home and I kept telling everybody, I was like, the guy at Napa just gave me this tool and said, bring it back when you get done. I was like, I didn't have to rent this. I didn't have to give him my driver's license or nothing. I probably told 6 people. I was like, I love this, and I went home and I'm working on that thing. I'm like, I got to get this thing back as quickly as I possibly can. I was all pressured to get it back on time. But that was a new experience coming up from Las Vegas, Nevada area. to being like this
That-
little small town where I'm like,
That has bit me in the ass a few times.
oh, I don't doubt it.
There was a gal came in one Saturday when I was by myself. And she needed to change a battery, and I'm like, well, I can't help you because it was up the street. But I said I can give you these tools. And I had a tool bag, had everything in it, change every battery and every car. Never saw it again.
Oh, that's a
gosh.
bummer.
Somebody that always ruins that for all of us.
Yep.
Yeah, but you try to remember that that's like a one-off.
Yeah, yeah,
But it doesn't. I mean, it's still a cost.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating. People do that.
Yeah.
Well, I've done
is.
it like this winter with people that get run out of propane. I bet you I've dropped off. In fact, I was just thinking about this last week. I'm like, because they're like, hey, we're running low or whatever, and I'll run up and drop off a 100-pounder or 40-pounder, and I honestly don't know. I can't remember all of them. Like, and I know that we lose them because I'm like, Jamie, we gotta write this down. So we know.
little tracking device.
Like I can go back and get them, and then we're trying to like off your memory. And what happens is you're driving around, and you're like, I've been there. Like, what was I doing? And so then there's a couple times where I've like driven by and been like peeking. I did this last week actually, and you're peeking and going, that's it, that's the one, and I run over and grab it.
Grab it.
And I'm just waiting for somebody to be like, what the heck are you doing?
What are you doing with my propane bottle?
Yeah, I know. We do the same thing with catering boxes. We send them out into the world, and sometimes we spend money on these catering boxes. We send them out there, and everybody's been really good about it.
No, they have. And also, like, if
Most
somebody
people are.
comes up
Yeah.
and, like, orders a burrito and their card won't work or something like that,
Yeah.
be like, hey, get me next time. And for the most part, everybody's come back. I will forget.
Yeah.
And they'll come back and like, oh, I owe you for last time. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks.
Yep.
But like,
That's rarely bit us, honestly.
rarely. One time it did, and I remembered the girl, and she's like, "Oh, I thought I already paid you," but that was it. That was.
And then she was like, well, I only have money for this burrito. Can I just pay for this burrito right now? And
And I'm like,
April
no,
was
that's
like,
not how this works. I'm sorry.
you got to square up for the last one.
But that's only happened once. Other than that, everybody, I'll come up or like they'll get a burrito and it's their free burrito and they'll want a soda and they want to use their card, and I'm like, just get me next time for your soda
Oh, we
because it's
do a lot of
$1,
that.
know? So it's like I run your card, I'm spending 40 cents to run that card, so and
Plus-
everybody's really good.
Yeah. And we'll have people too that they'll come and they're like, oh, their card won't work. And I know how that is, like at different points in my life, whether there was no money or it's just the card doesn't work, like you hate that feeling, right? And
I never want to make anybody feel bad for that. So I'm like, oh, just get me tomorrow.
right. Yeah. But I'm amazed too. Like some guys they need like 4 burritos or whatever. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, just, dude, you come here all the time, man. Just get me next time. It's amazing how many people make the effort to come back like that, that morning right away.
Yeah.
And they square up. And I feel like in larger cities, a lot of times I think
That's not going to happen.
that's not going to happen. They're going to be
'cause
like,
you'll never see them again.
you're never going to see them again.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So I feel fortunate that we live in that kind of a town here, and it's not a bitter. Sometimes there's small towns that are just kind of bitter. There's something about it. I don't know. They're not all as friendly, or they're not all as open. I don't know what it is, but this place seems pretty.
Yeah. There's cliquey towns.
Yes.
That's
what
exactly
it
how I
is.
call it.
Yeah.
They kind of grew up together, kind of thing.
Would you call this town cliquey?
Probably not, but I'm sure that there is cliques.
I don't think that it's cliquey.
See, now I've been
I think
told by
there's
certain
moments there's groups of people that
I think there's your groups, and you do have
are close with each other.
the little
Sure, you
clicky
could call it
groups,
cliquey.
but I think the majority of people, there's
Are
your
accepting.
groups in certain areas and certain industries around here. But other than that, I think
Everybody's pretty well intertwined in this town through
marriages and kids
school and jobs. Like everybody's jobs kind of, like all mesh.
Yeah. I haven't felt any negative, like anything from like cliquey type stuff. When I first moved here, I ran into some lady at the, and I don't know who she was, and I think she moved and whatever. She worked at the city, like you'd go pay your water bill. And she just was like, I don't know what I said to her, but she was like, oh, and I said something about this town or whatever, and she was like, oh, yeah, no, I'm getting out of this town. This town's just too much drama. And she was like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, really? I was like,
are new people
I-
that have said that. Like they've gotten here and they just had a hard time making friends or getting involved
I
because
typically find though that that's the person and not the town though.
yeah.
You know, like
Well, it's
Didn't
small
matter
town,
what-
so everybody knows what's going on usually.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I think that if you,
Came from somewhere where nobody knows anybody.
yeah, well, and if you don't laugh at yourself, and been like,
I think some people doesn't matter what town they go to though, they're going to find that the town
absolutely.
is
Well,
probably-
I've had people that have said like, Cody, what the hell happened with when I hit the boom on the underpass,
Oh yeah.
I'm like, frick, I'm like just being a dumbass. I just being stupid. No response. Even the police officer, when he was handing me the ticket for reckless driving, he's like,
Reckless.
he goes, careless driving because reckless
I
driving.
was going to say. isn't
Yeah,
that
that's
terrible?
like that's
He's like, I am so sorry I have to hand this to you. I'm like, no, dude, I earned it, man. I just being a dummy. I freaking couldn't think. I mean, but as long as you can laugh at yourself,
Yeah.
I think people kind of roll with that and been like, what happened? I'm like, dude, all I know is I was driving along and then freaking
Then all of a sudden you weren't
the
anymore.
world just broke up. And it's funny how many people just kind of roll with that. Like, you know what? It happens.
instead of being acting like you're perfection and all that. It's
yeah.
being
Instead of being
human and-
offended that they even asked.
having a
like,
little bit of
dude,
humility with yourself.
just being a dummy.
Yeah, I do dumb stuff all the time, so I'm pretty used to owning it.
You just got to.
Yeah, we were
It takes the words out of everybody's mouth if you own it.
But when you were talking about like, people come back and paying you, there used to be a guy that came around, an old guy that used to wash windows at all the businesses.
Uh-huh.
And I can't remember what his name was, but he always had a story that he was a songwriter from Nashville, and he's just earning money to get back to Nashville because he's writing for Alan Jackson. I mean, he had this whole story. And he had probably some mental issues, but nice guy. And so he would come into all the businesses, and for $20, he'd wash your windows on the outside. Do about a $5 job, but he charged $20.
Right.
And my dad would always give him a 20, and somehow he had initiated it with like, I just need this 20 now, but I'll be back next week to clean your windows. That's how he initiated it. So he does. He shows up the next week, clean the windows, and he's like, well, that'd be $20. So this keeps going on, every few months. And my mom finally gets so mad at my dad, and she's like, Hank, he's already $20 up on you. He owes you a free window wash. And so the next time he came down, my mom's like, no, you're not getting 20. You owe this window wash. And she made him wash the window for free because he was $20 ahead on her, and she wasn't going to have it.
That's awesome that she held him to it and he just went along and
My
did it.
mom would, yeah. She rolls in her grave every day probably when she sees the shit I do.
That's great. That's funny. When I first moved up here also, it seemed like you were all about, or not all about, but you were way into the hill climbs. You
Yep.
were doing all the hill climbs. How many years did you participate in the hill climbs?
Well, we raced motocross for a long time, and then I started hill climbing when they started this one here. That was the first one I ever did, and then I just got more and more into it.
Wow. Because I was there in 2015. That was our first time we were open with the food trailer.
Yep.
I can't believe we were like, you got to do, everybody was telling us you should do hill climbs. So I went and did that, and that was just nuts crazy, and we were way in over our head. But I heard your name. You were there, right?
Yeah.
I just kept hearing it on the
I'm
announcements.
trying to think what
I didn't know you, but
I can't remember what the last year I did it was, but that might have been right around maybe one of the last ones,
really?
Maybe
It was
one
2015, I think.
15 or 16.
16.
Finally, when I kind of started figuring it out. I'm like,
Really?
okay, yeah, I'm good.
What is it to figuring it out? What is it? What is the trick to doing those hill climbs? I'd never seen anything till I came here, and I was like, this is a thing?
Oh yeah. The big thing that I had is we'd go practice in this place called Cali, Wyoming. And, with guys like Dusty Beer and Nick Beer that are really good. Well, those guys always practice just stock bikes. So that's, we got to keep up with these guys, which is really fun. But when you put just a little bit of an extension on one of those bikes, they work way different, and you got to ride them totally different. And so I struggled because the only time I'm getting time on it, it's like 10 seconds at a time at an event,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I can't figure this out. So finally one day, Mike Ortiz is like, you got to practice with how you're going to hill climb. And that made all the difference in the world. One day of just doing that, I wasted like 5 years.
Really?
Trying to figure
Because
it
that
out.
was the only time you could go do it was like,
at the hill climb, yeah.
wow.
And I'm like, why didn't I do this 5 years?
So do you go outside of Cali, right, when they have those
Yeah, up those
berms.
Bentonites. Up those big Bentonite hills. You drive back in there like, I don't know, 15 miles probably. And that's
I know exactly where you're.
Yeah, they call it the compound. It's where all the guys from Billings and like the guys
cool.
that come
It's
up
pretty
from
cool to
Utah, and
watch.
California, if they come early, they go down there. Yeah.
That's amazing to me, though, that like you just would go and do that. It's not like you had, I don't know, like I guess I just didn't realize it. Anybody can just go sign up and just go do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure.
You don't have to qualify by.
You can sign up and just try to qualify. I mean, you still got to qualify at the event, so anybody could probably sign up for it, but it doesn't mean you're going to qualify. You get 2 qualifying runs. And then you either got to get a time or a footage, depending on how it works. And then they take like the top, depending on the class, like top 20 or top 35 in the other 2 classes. So it's kind of tough.
Wow.
Because you're within tenths of a second. And so that's one of the things that keeps you going.
Yeah.
Oh, I was this close.
That would 10th or 20 of a second.
Yeah.
So it's not just about, it's about the time, and it's about getting over the top.
Yep.
I mean,
pretty much anymore, it's all time.
Really?
Seems like most guys get over, but
most guys are getting over it.
Yeah.
And they do them all over, right? It's not just here.
See, like this series would be California, Washington, Idaho, Montana, and Utah now, I think, has one for the series that comes here. And then there's a whole East Coast series that's totally different. And then I think a couple other series have started up, but it's not that big of a moneymaker.
Really?
No, yeah, you're not going to make money hill climbing. Even if you won every event, you're not going to make money at it.
There's just not the sponsorship in it?
There's just not that kind of money in it, Most of the money from those big events, motorsports, TV packages, stuff like that.
What kind of prize money is there for that?
It depends on the amount of riders. I mean, like a guy could win $3,000 to $5,000 at a big hill climb, for a weekend. But
how much is one of those extensions on the back of that bike?
Well, that's the thing. Your bikes and everything are going to be expensive because you can't just go buy them.
Yeah.
You got to. There's a certain bike class that's a bike that you can go buy, but you still got to buy the stuff to do it. And, because you have to have extensions. You can't ride a stock bike, which my brother and I are the reasons that rolls in, because we made money. The only time I ever really made money was on a stock bike.
And so now you can't. Now
and so the next year they're like, okay, yeah, no, they got to have extensions. Everybody has to have extensions.
Huh.
Yeah.
You would think the extension would make it easier anyway, right?
It does on some hills, but some hills it makes it harder.
Really? How's that?
Just because the bike works totally different. Just depends on how rough the hill is. And yeah, there's some hills like Columbus was a good hill for a stock bike. Used to be. Now you wouldn't make it.
Does it change? I mean, much with how do they keep something like that from being completely different from year to year with erosion and everything else? Do they groom that?
They go up and rework it every year. Yep.
Wow.
With big excavators and rebuild the walls and
pack it all back in,
and yep.
That's interesting. I didn't think about all that. I was just like, that thing looks pretty worn out. They're only going to be able to do that for another year or two here, and then that hill's gone.
That event costs anywhere from $150,000 to $175,000 to put on.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yep. It's nuts.
So how long has it been coming here?
So they did the first one in 2004 was the first one they did.
Okay.
And it was a guy named John Halter started it, and then Mike Ortiz and Donnie Beer kept it going, and then now Tyler Johnson from Octane Addictions does it.
Okay.
Which that's like his business is putting on events. So it's a pretty good fit for him, and he's done a good job with it. But it is so much work.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Going out there and putting on the food, the hours out there were just really tough.
Yep.
Because it's morning until 1 in the morning, 2 a.m., and they want you serving food between, being available to do this long, and you can't hardly hold enough, so you're having to shuttle stuff in, and there's lines to get in and out of that place. The traffic is really hard. It's a logistical nightmare the couple times we did do it.
Yep.
And making sure you have enough power. They did provide power one time, but it kept tripping. You couldn't rely on it.
Because there was too many people plugged into it, I'm sure.
Yes. And so we're like, well, we got refrigerators. We got to be running overnight. And now we're having to we just need 40 bags of ice. Well, so does everybody else. So to try and get ice to ice our food down overnight.
There's definitely a lot of growing pains with figuring that out as it got bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So,
And then the hours were just brutal.
Brutal hours.
That one time, this was the second time we went there, and this was April's first time with us there, and I thought I was going to lose her. Like, I didn't think she was coming back to the trailer at one point.
He's like, go have a drink.
I just said, just go somewhere for a little bit, like go unwind or whatever. She comes back with like drinks. Like I didn't say anything about a drink.
That's what she heard.
That's what I heard.
Back,
Go get drinks.
and because it was slow all day, we opened up at like 10, 11 in the morning, whatever, and it was just super slow and trickling. But then around 5 o'clock, it picked up.
And I'm fast and efficient, and I can multitask, and I can do lots of things, and I can run it very smoothly. But that was insanity.
But then after a while, the line is 30 feet.
You don't get anywhere.
Or 30, 40 people in line.
Yep.
And from 5 p.m. until about 10 p.m. 10 p.m. was about the first time that we got through all the tickets on the ticket board. And there's times where the tickets, we weren't able to separate them. So they're printing, but they leave a little tab to connect to the last one. Well, we had strings 2-3 feet long of connected tickets, all like 10, 15 of those on our ticket bar, because you couldn't just put one ticket there because, no, we had strings of them hanging down off of there while we're putting out
There's just
food.
no end in sight. Like, there's no end in sight.
And people are in there, and everybody's outside wondering what's taking so long. Well, it's because inside we're melting down. People are starting to crack. Like, like there's so much pressure, and it's so go, go, go. And it was super hot that year. And we had we got the grill going there. 350, 400.
Oh, it's 120 degrees in there.
It was easily 120 inside the trailer. And, and then there's just there's fryer oil is hitting the ground. We didn't have mats in there. People are sliding around. We're like trying not to go down. And then there's water. We're soaking the potatoes and coming across the walkway, and the water is hitting the oil. And it's super slick in there. And we're trying to keep clean as we go. And the people just keep getting in line, and we're worried about quality. But after a while, you know what? People are just drunk. And,
They don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
and you're like trying to put out good quality, and I'm like starting to stress about like, did that have enough something on it? And it's going out, and that guy keeps coming back, and he just keeps buying, a burger or a cheesesteak, and he doesn't care. After a while, we're like, we have fries. All we have is fries.
You ran
I
out
don't
of everything.
care. I'll just take some fries. And then we're just like putting out fries. That's all we have.
Yep.
And anyway, that night.
Experience.
And then it's finally like literally the fireworks keep going. Other places are shutting down. They've run out of food, and we're still there, and people keep coming up to the window.
Oh, yeah. If you're the last food truck there, you're going to be slammed.
Yes, and we were. And then eventually, though, I could see that people were just cracking, coming apart. And I'm like, you need to go home. Like, we'll see you again tomorrow.
In 4 hours.
Yeah. Anyway, we quit going back because you go up there and you make some good money, but it's really hard on you.
Yeah.
Like, really hard. Really hard on your people. And I was just like, is it worth it? Honestly, we've talked about going back now and doing it differently. We would send our truck. We would do everything, provide things do things how we do things now. Like, we would make all the breakfast burritos here and then just go deliver 200 breakfast burritos to that warmer.
Yep.
And now there's just one person at the window, one person running a bag who's bagging burritos and just going that route.
And
we don't got
they're gone.
And when they're gone, they're gone. But we also don't have the distraction. We don't have the special orders. And we could just have people that are just at the trailer, just jamming to tunes, just like a machine rolling burritos for the next shipment to go up. And that's because that's what kills you is special orders.
Yep.
It just kills you when people come up and they're like, I want a burger, but I don't want tomato. And can I get light sauce and this and that? And then they got 6 burgers and they're all different. And everybody's trying to keep that in order. Anyway, Hill Climbs about did us in.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. A lot of work on all sides of it.
Yeah.
But they keep doing it, so that's good.
No, it is good.
I think that is the Town Pump and IGA's biggest weekend of the year.
Really?
is the hill.
Oh, I could totally.
Oh, I
see
could
that.
totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just in ice.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Ice and water.
They could probably double their price on ice that weekend and do great.
Well, and I think they take I think IGA takes an ice truck out there now, like a trailer
Yeah.
to sell ice to everybody too.
Nice.
Wow. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll rethink that and get out there. But for a long time, your name was synonymous with hill climbs for me because I heard your name a lot.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, yeah, that's a guy at Napa. And I would be like, oh, okay, well, he's going again. I'm like, I can hear it, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that, yeah, you only did it for another year or two after we were there, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, that might have been maybe the last year I did it. 16 maybe was the last year I did it.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you do comparatively, or like when they in the end when there's rankings and everything else? How are you doing?
I don't know. The best year I ever had, I think when I went to quite a few, I finished like 10th in like one class.
How many guys are doing it though?
Oh, in that class at every event, there's probably like 75 to
Holy cow!
100. So, but that
I didn't realize there was
a lot of those guys aren't going to every event, so they're not in the points. But I mean, just to make it in that class is like for me, I was like, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I think that last year I did it. I was the oldest guy that qualified in that class.
Wow. Well,
Bunch
that's
of
pretty
kids.
That's pretty interesting.
It is.
Now it's got me thinking about hill climbs, and now it's got hill climb fever. Maybe we should go back this year.
It's funny though. Ever since they started having that thing here, now, like growing up here, my brother and I were the only ones that had dirt bikes. Nobody had them. Maybe a couple other people. And ever since that thing's come, I mean, every kid in this town wants one or has
As
one.
a dirt bike. Yep.
That's
So it's
great.
just
I
putting
could totally see that because you go out and see all the excitement that's around.
Yep, and it just puts it right in front of people.
Yeah.
And they see it.
Makes it accessible.
Yep.
Well, that's good. I don't know. I feel like we need more events like that though in this town. Like more things like, I don't know. It seems like a lot of other places have music festivals, and I don't know.
You just have to get a good crew and a committee together to be putting these
There's,
on, and that's the thing. It's finding those people and the time. And
Yep.
It's
That's
time.
I think Mayor Davis
No.
could do it.
Well, they
Like,
have
I'm out.
Commissioner Davis.
No.
Commissioner Davis.
they got the musicians rendezvous at Ichcopee every year,
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
very true. Yep.
which people come from all over for that. But
They
I
do.
think that's like just kind of like.
I think I
banjo, guitar
went
stuff.
one year, kind of did it, but then other than that was like years and years and years ago. I haven't been.
But that's the same thing too. It's all a bunch of people that volunteer their time
Yep.
to put it on, and I think the same with the Absarkee barbecue.
Yeah.
It's just getting people together
To volunteer their time.
put on events. It's a lot of work.
Ah,
Yeah. Mm.
lots of details.
There used to be a rodeo grounds here,
Really? Where was that at?
up by the Little Metro,
Huh.
and now I think that's where it was.
Yeah, they still have that, but it's kind of more towards 4-H. and
Right. It was
That.
the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
rodeo ground. They had a NRA, Northern Rodeo Association rodeo here and everything.
Wow.
And Absarkee had one too, and they're all gone.
Wow. Well, it's kind of weird that that's all dying out.
Yeah, I just think it's a lack of interest of people wanting to put the time in.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what
I
I say.
agree.
There's some small towns that still
Everybody's
have
so
the NRA.
busy doing stuff, and kids and sporting. Kids in sports, for one, has like rules. You have club this, club that, where we never used to have that when we were kids.
No,
Like you played for the school, or that was it.
Yeah,
you didn't
that
have
was-
options.
yep, there was none of that.
Yeah.
That takes up a lot of time anymore.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remind me, what was that podcast you guys did? Those
Oh, the 406 Sarcast.
406 Sarcast. All right, because I'm looking that up. I want to encourage you, man. Get back into podcasting.
Kyle's been on me. We need to. So.
I think you guys should do it, man. It's a lot of fun. We have fun. We're having fun with this.
Yeah, it's just fun learning all this stuff.
It is.
It is. And having the conversations.
Yeah, it just is. Just conversations, and I don't know. We're just using it as an excuse to nail
But you
people
learn-
down and have
Right.
like get to know people and
You learn so much about people. Like, I didn't know Cole Waltner was into photography. Like, I would have known,
I
you know,
didn't
and I
either.
left when I was 16. So a lot of these, when I left, you know, everybody grew up, and that's when you really grow up.
But you know
So
what? He wasn't
left.
into it back then.
No,
It
but,
wasn't until like 2013, he said.
But yeah, so it's like all these people grow up, and you have no idea who they are anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's different.
Yeah, I just posted a podcast with Shelby Burrows, and Shelby Burrows has a YouTube video with 5 million views of him lancing an abscess on a
Ugh.
calf, and it is disgusting.
It is gross.
But he has other videos that where he was putting out little like mountain man backcountry packing videos.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just interesting the different things that people are into, and
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm into a lot of stuff, but I have all the gear to do all the stuff. I just never do anything.
You don't have the time.
I'm a
That's
gear,
us.
I'm a gear junkie.
are you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You get all I kind of that way. I kind of buy all the stuff, but then I don't allot the time to.
Yeah, that's exactly like fly fishing, bow hunting. Like I got all the nice shit.
I got him all nice waders and new boots,
Yeah.
like for his birthday, top of the line. He hasn't worn them once because we haven't had the time.
Yeah.
I know. Just a couple of days ago, I was telling Glenn though, I'm like,
We got all
I'm
the
going
fishing.
fishing. I'm going fishing. I got to get those waders, and I got to just get into
We
that.
have
and take the
kayaks that we
time.
bought. We didn't take the kayaks once last year, but it was
Yeah.
such an awful summer. But yeah, we got paddle boards. We did that a few times, but like, yeah, we have all this stuff, and we just don't.
I just find though that since COVID, all of everything in the outdoor activities is just so packed with
Yes.
people now.
Oh yeah. It's kind of good to see that change. you
Yeah.
know? I think a lot of people got back to doing stuff that they did growing up.
Yes.
So I mean, like motorcycle industry, like you can finally start to find them on the showroom floors, but I mean, they were gone for
Wow.
like most of
Like all the
Only-
camping gear.
camping gear,
RVs.
RVs, side by sides.
Yep.
And it's incredible how much that stuff costs and how much money you're spending, how much people
Oh.
are able to
Oh,
spend
yeah,
on all that
yeah.
somehow. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
because we bought side by sides 4 years ago, right after I quit hill climbing, because I sold my hill climb bikes and got a side by side so we could all go.
Up in the mountains and
Yep.
do that. Yeah.
And you grow up around here, and you never go see anything because it's just up there.
Yep.
Right.
And once we got those, I mean, there's so many neat places around here to go see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't been at Chrome Lake is one of my
Yep.
favorite places to go.
Yep.
And the fish come out of there and their meat's all pink because they eat little shrimp, I heard, up there. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, just cool little places that just don't make the time to do.
Yep, there's a bunch of little lakes. You can go up, pick a pin, and I mean, all over the place. Then that's just here.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole state full of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's true.
it's just about making the time. We got to just make the time this year for sure. We get wrapped up in work and all this stuff we try to do. You're there at work all the time. I see you there all the time. I mean,
Most of
how many hours are you putting in?
I don't know.
I'm not counting.
Yeah. And then if I'm gone, most people are like, "You're never here anymore." Like,
Ah.
yeah.
I just took one weekend in the last 6 months.
Yeah, that's true.
I was gone 5 days last week when I went to Texas,
Ah,
and I'm pretty sure that's the longest I've been away from the shop since my honeymoon.
yeah. Wow. I know. Well, running a business, man, it
Yeah.
takes a lot of time. That's for sure. Man, I appreciate you. We got to get out of here because we all got to go to work. We can't all act like big podcast stars.
Not yet. Till
Yeah.
Spotify pays $100 million.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no kidding.
That's coming any day. But
any day.
any day now. Anyway, appreciate you taking the time to come in here early.
I like your setup. Looks awesome.
Hey, well, thank you.
Very professional.
Thank you. Yeah, we just wanted to feel like,
See, our podcast was that Zoom sitting on a tire and then us drinking beer and talking shit.
but
That's got to be pretty entertaining, though.
That's got.
I bet it is, yeah.
That's why I'm saying for real. I'm gonna go listen to some of those old ones because that's probably some of the best ones. Where you
Yeah.
guys just loosen up and don't care and
Yeah.
let it rip.
They were definitely loose.
Yeah, yeah. As you can see, we're big on gear too, though. I'm like, oh, I gotta have this. Oh, I gotta have that. And,
Yeah.
I don't know. We did want something that we could just. It was getting hard to just set everything up every time.
Right.
So I was like, I need something where I can just go click things on, turn things on, and it's ready to go, and I can leave it. And that is what has been nice about this, is having a place that always just stays the way it is,
right.
and then gives you no excuse to be like, hey, are you in the mood to record? Let's go sit down and do that. So honestly, if you guys could just figure out a spot where you leave the stuff.
Well, if podcasting does, like, even here, you could, there used to be, like, what do they call them, ham radio stations, or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is kind of not as fancy of a version as this.
Right.
But, a lot of people used to do that stuff just in small communities.
Yeah.
If you look at, like, FM 99 The Mountain, for 18 ads, it costs, $125 or something for 18 30-second ads. So say you got enough of a following just in this community. Oh,
Yeah.
you get 5 advertisers.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Next thing you know, you're on your way to 100 million.
It's right around the corner. That's what I keep telling Cody.
Any day now.
Yep.
Mr. Negative.
I had a professor in college said anybody can be a millionaire, and I'm going to tell you how. He goes, it's real simple. You just don't spend more than you make, and eventually you'll be a millionaire. So there you are.
You know what? That's very true.
Yeah.
That is very, very true. That's a good way of looking at it. All too often, we all live
So
outside.
simple. Just
As I'm getting older, though, it's getting way easier, though, to, like, just not care about all the other stuff and not go crazy on stuff. It is getting easier. Being like, I don't really need that. I don't really need that.
Yeah, I have a problem with that still.
Accumulation.
I want to use it now.
Yeah.
J.G. Wentworth. I want my stuff now.
Yeah. Right.
instant gratification, Dusty.
Yeah. Well, we're like, let's keep our heads down now and let's, like, hammer down for just a few more years.
Yep.
And then, I don't know, hopefully we don't die before then. But then after that, we're hoping, like, hey, then we,
Yep.
let's pay the price now so we can pay any price later.
Exactly.
And anyway, so, well, cool. We'll do another one of these. We'll check in with you, man.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's just fun hanging out with people and getting to know people. And
Yeah.
who knows what'll happen or where this goes.
Yeah.
So, and I'm probably going to stay on you about your podcast.
Okay, let's do that. Good. Yeah, Kyle will be all over it.
All right, man. Hey, well, thanks,
You bet.
everybody.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Yep. We'll see you next time.